If you make these 3 mistakes while stretching, you could be wasting your time or even risking an injury. Most people get stretching wrong, but in today's video, I'm going to reveal the 3 biggest mistakes and how to avoid them. Mistake number 1 is not holding for long enough to make a permanent change to your flexibility. Now, if you're serious about improving your flexibility, holding a stretch for 5 or 10 or even 20 seconds is simply not long enough. Research shows that you need to hold a stretch for at least 30 seconds to make a long-term change. And that's because of one structure that lives in your muscles called the Golgi tendon organ. So I've drawn a muscle here. It's a very bad drawing, so I apologize. And this is your muscle. So you've got your muscle belly, your tendons, and all your fibers here. Now, living within the tendon, you have these tiny little cells called your Golgi tendon organs. And they're basically like receptors. So they tell your brain when your muscle is under a stretch. Now, the problem is with these Golgi tendon organs, the GTOs, they're highly sensitive. So when you first start stretching, they go, oh, I'm in a stretch position, I don't like it, and that's why the stretch feels so intense. But if you hold for longer than 30 seconds, those GTOs desensitize, and that allows you to stretch further. So when you're stretching for longer than 30 seconds, you're not really changing the length of your muscle fibers, but you are changing the sensitivity of your GTOs, and that's what helps you get more flexible. So this mistake is simple to fix. Find your stretch position and hold it for between 30 and 60 seconds and then swap sides. That seems to be the sweet spot for progress in flexibility. Now, if you're one of the many people who's serious about improving their mobility and their strength over time, I've got a special free gift that I want to tell you about. I've spent 6 months developing something called the Stronger for Life Roadmap. And the Stronger for Life Roadmap gives you a customized plan to follow, which will show you exactly how to improve your strength, your mobility, and stay independent no matter your current level of ability. It's 100% free, and you can get it by following the link in the description box below. Mistake number 2 is trying to maximize intensity. Now, when I was younger, I went to a martial arts class where they would put you in stretches and push you until your eyes were almost watering. Looking back, I'm not convinced it would be allowed today. But was that intense approach effective? Well, it kind of worked, but I wouldn't say I got more flexible faster than my patients who only pushed themselves to a moderate stretch. And research backs me up on this. A recent study took a group of older people and split them in half. One half pushed their stretches as hard as they possibly could, and the other half just did moderate and mild stretches. They both did the same duration, it was just the intensity that was different. So what were the results of the study? Well, immediately after each session of stretching, the intense group had greater improvements. But over a period of 24 hours, the improvements were actually identical. So those who pushed further only experienced a short-term benefit over the ones who didn't push as far. So intense stretching is not necessary. But what is necessary, and the research shows us this time and time again, is frequency. So the effectiveness of your stretching comes down to how often you do it, not how much you do all in one go. And this is so important to understand. And this is where I see many of my patients get their big unlocks in flexibility. And that means that the ultimate protocol for improving your flexibility looks something like this. You're going to take a stretch, let's say it's your calves, and you're going to stretch each side for 30 seconds. And you're only going to do it once. So that means you're standing at the kitchen counter, you stretch for 30 seconds on your right, you do the same on your left, then you go about your day. But here is where the magic happens. You need to come back to that 5 times per day. So times 5, that's a terrible 5 times per day. And the magic of that is that you're going to stretch the muscle, it's going to improve in length, and then it's going to get tighter. But you come back to it so many times that it never snaps back to where it was before fully, which means by the end of the day, you've made a meaningful improvement in your flexibility. If you do that over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, it's going to make a massive difference. Mistake number 3 is stretching without also improving your control. Now, this is the biggest mistake that people make when they stretch, and it comes down to not understanding the difference between flexibility and mobility. Now, flexibility is just a measure of how far you can move, whereas mobility is a construct of how far you can move, but also how much control you have over that movement. If you're just flexible, but you don't have very good mobility, you can move a long way, but you're at a much higher risk of injury. So having lots of flexibility without having plenty of control is not only useless, it can also be dangerous. Thankfully, improving your control alongside your flexibility is something that anyone can do, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. Now, before I show you the following exercises, I just need to make you aware they're not suitable for everyone. Get checked out before you try them and avoid any of the ones that cause you pain. The first exercise I'm going to show you how to do to improve your control as well as your flexibility is the Romanian deadlift with a stick. And for this, you basically just need a stick or an umbrella or a broom handle. It doesn't have to be anything heavy, but as you get better, you can pick up something heavy instead. I'll show you exactly how it works first, and then you can try it at home. And this is a great exercise for improving your hamstring flexibility. You know, when you see people doing these stretches all the time, but this will also improve your control over that movement at the same time. So it kills two birds with one stone. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to take your stick, you're going to rest it on the fronts of your thighs like this. You want your feet about hip width apart, just a slight bend in the knees, probably just about 5 or 10 degrees like this. You're going to keep your back nice and straight and keep your body standing tall, and then slide that stick down the front of your legs while sticking your bottom out behind you and not rounding your spine. So you keep your back completely straight like mine is now, and you slide the stick down as far as you can until you start to feel a stretch in your hamstrings, which is, I've got that stretch right now. If I went any further, that would be pushing too far into it. So I'm just going to put the movement into reverse and come up to the top. And then you repeat. So you slide down like this, keep that back straight, stick your bottom out as if you're trying to touch your bottom on the wall behind you, and then come back up. And a nice cue for this is try and touch your bottom on the wall behind you, as if you're trying to reach behind you with your bottom and touch it, and then come back up again. And for this, you only need to do about 10 of these in a row. And I'd recommend coming back to this 2 or 3 times per day if you're serious about improving your hamstring flexibility and mobility, and it will be a massive help to you. Let's have a look at the second exercise now. The second exercise we're going to do to improve your mobility is the wide squat. And this is a brilliant exercise for improving your flexibility and mobility of your quads and your adductors, which are these muscles in your groin. So you're going to take your feet nice and wide apart to begin with, probably about 3/4 of the way that you can go, and turn your feet outwards as well. So your feet are pointing like that. Should be a nice comfortable position to begin with. Take your hands out the way, and then we're just going to bend both knees and sit down into a squat like this until you start to feel the stretch in this area here, and then hold. Now you don't have to hold for too long. You can do one of two things. You can hold for 5 seconds, come away from it and repeat. So nice and slow down, hold for 5, and then come back up. Or you can turn this into a full stretch and do a full 30-second hold at the bottom of that movement, really feeling yourself sink down into the stretch. So getting down into it and then sinking down as you feel that muscle relax, and then coming away from it and just doing it once. Whichever you prefer, you can do a grand total of 30 to 60 seconds worth of work, and that will make a big difference to your mobility, so your control, but also your flexibility in that area. The final exercise I'm going to show you how to do today is one that improves the mobility of your shoulders. And this is a special area for me because I've got stiff, immobile shoulders. So it's one that I'm working on personally. Now, here is how it looks. You just need a wall for this that your partner doesn't mind you putting your hands against. You're going to turn and face it like this and just bring your working hand up the wall like this. So you've got your hand on the wall, the palm on the wall, and you're facing dead on into the wall like this. Walk your palm up the wall as high as you can. You might already feel a bit of a stretch in your shoulder when you do it. And then what we're going to do, without leaning in or leaning back, you're just going to lift your palm off the wall, taking your hand back as far as you can, and then putting it back on again. Simple as that. So lift off, hold, and then back. And we might just do a 2 or 3 second hold each time. You can feel that you're both improving the flexibility of your shoulder by increasing the movement, but also the control, because it's your actual muscles doing it. It's not just a passive stretch. If you want to do it on the other side, it would look like this. So again, probably about 6 inches away from the wall of your nose, and you just take that hand off the wall, put it back for a second, and then put it back on. And if you keep repeating this 10 times in a row, do that once or twice a day, over time it will make a massive difference. So I hope that's made a difference to you. If it has, please do drop a comment below and let us know. There's another video on the screen right now which will show you how to improve your mobility even further. So click on that if you're interested. Make sure you take your Stronger for Life roadmap using the link below this video, and I'll see you again on the next one.